Hey, this is Dad Random, and I am out to demonstrate today the power of the 360 camera. Me and Steve are out on our trail, taking the path less traveled. And of course, what we want to do is just give you some of the important aspects of 360, what it can do for you on the trail, what limitations it has. Now, of course, we have plenty of examples of limited ability by this camera, but you know, it's what it can bring us as far as changing the perspective of a walk. So that's really what we want to do, is how can you be helped? What are some of the advantages of this camera? And of course, how can it improve your YouTube channel experience? And that's really what we want to do. We want to concentrate on the great things that 360 can bring. Do I think the 360 camera is going to be the next big thing, and when it comes to YouTube? No, I don't, guys. I don't get excited. It's kind of like when the Osmo Pocket came out. Everybody jumped on the Osmo bandwagon and said, oh my gosh, this is just so awesome. Well, it is. But on the other hand, you know, the Osmo is just another tool, and that's really what we need to think about. All these tech gizmos is how the new tool is going to enhance your YouTube experience. How is it going to help your audience to create basically a more a more unique YouTube experience? So here we go. This is kind of cool. Right here is a great example. Getting through this fence right here, and hopefully I don't get hooked on it. Steve. The miracles of trying to get through things with camera gear. Right now, what I'm using for this YouTube segment is I'm using the Insta360 camera, which is actually a generation behind, because what I really want to do is just get to know it, get to know 360. What are the limitations? What are the things that I want out of a new camera? One of a higher level, or a more a next generation type camera. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So what are my limitations today as I go through this riverbed? Right, Steve? Just let Steve fly around. And since Steve is a subject that doesn't stand still, this technology allows me to take a subject like Steve, a dog, any kind of animal that you travel with, and allow for multiple perspectives. Right, Steve? Now, if you see how I'm holding the camera, I'm holding it out from me, holding it at about a 45-degree angle, a little bit less than a 45. You're supposed to cut the sun in half with it, so it eliminates that stitch line glare. So that's what I'm doing. From all the videos that I watch, some great videos out there, I'm going to take those video examples and credit those folks. But 360 with Steve. Hey Steve, come. Now this video I'm going to break down into two segments. This is the intro. When I get to the top of the hill, when I get to the money shot, I'm going to do a scene up there, and then I'm going to do a an outro. I'm gonna do a finishing scene. So hopefully you're getting a nice, smooth, quality video. That's what I'm looking for, with a little bit of cinematic interest. So I'm gonna stay up in this rock area here. Hopefully Steve will find a rabbit. But one of my biggest problems when looking for things to capture is the fact that I usually miss it, especially when Steve over there finds a rabbit. So I'm gonna go over by Steve a little bit, change my direction. Steve, did you find anything? You find a rabbit, Steve? Steve's looking for rabbits. So am I, actually. I want him to find one because we can catch him at the moment that he does find it. I can't do that with my GoPro, guys. Once that rabbit jumps out of its hiding spot, Steve's after it, and I cannot go back and capture it. So as far as a trail cam, this thing should be the absolute bee's knees, you know? It should be the best. So, Dad Random, yes! Dad Random out on the trail with Steve. Right, Steve? Hey, Steve, come. Here, good boy. Okay, I know you're hunting. I'm hunting. Steve is hunting. We know he's hunting. Here we go. Okay. Go find a rabbit. So there we go. So here's part one. So what can this thing do to help us? Now, I do not expect, first of all, I do not expect this camera to replace a GoPro. I do not expect this camera to be the GoPro replacement. It's just not made to do that. Someday, as far as image and those kinds of things, it will catch up, but it's not there yet. So I know I'm going to lose image quality. So what I need to do is I need to gather image that's different than GoPro image. And that's kind of the way I have to go about this camera. And of course, I have to know that it's at least a generation behind. I should probably be in the 5.6K category of cameras, and this one is only a 4K, and with 360, the industry standard for 360 cameras is 8K, so this camera's got a long ways to go. But just like anything else technologically, they will find an answer. They will meet the demands of the consumer. Technology has probably already solved the problems that this one basically creates, and the next generation camera is going to be better. So, all right, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop my camera here, and for Dad Random, yes. All right, Dad Random here, and we're at the top of the trailhead, and this is what I call the money shot coming up here, and there it is right there. This is the complete money shot from the area that we're in. Let's go, Steve. Steve, come. Steve, come. So this is the money shot. Now I'm going to give you an example of what you can do up here now that we have this 360 view. Now what's going to happen is it's going to definitely make it easier for me to interact with Steve. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the camera up standalone on this tripod, and we're just going to go about doing our thing. All right. Hey, Steve, come. Steve, come here. Come, Steve. Now we're not going to get too close to the edge here, Steve. Oh. Okay. Good boy. Steve, come on. Steve, come. That's too far. Okay. Yeah. So Steve's got to watch out. Now the only other thing that I got to worry about with this camera is the wind because it is kind of windy up here. So the wind can blow it over. So there it is. There's our hands-free shot. Now, of course, I'm using external audio. I'm using the Sony, the Sony 360 audio player. Now, this is a very low budget audio player, but that's okay. It takes care of our audio needs and puts it into what I consider a good quality. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna walk the ridge here. I'm gonna walk with Steve, keep him moving. And I'm gonna keep the camera angle. Now, the angle of the sun is right in the stitch line, and that's kind of what you want to do. Hopefully we don't get too much. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and put my zipper up over the mic there. See if I can muffle some of that wind sound. All right, Steve? This is giving us that 360 degree beautiful view. Pretty awesome. Yet to determine what type of audio will be better. It seems like the mic for this camera only picks up audio at a very low level. Maybe it's a setting issue, but right now I do not use the audio of the camera. The quality isn't bad, but the audio volume is quite low. From my last video, you could tell. So this is definitely a camera where you want to create external audio for. It's almost made for external audio. Let's go ahead and, like I said, we're going to continue to walk the ridge. Steve's doing a good job staying up on the trail. And I'm just trying to get these beautiful ridge shots. There we go. There's a shot you can't get with a GoPro right there. Steve, stay here. Steve's doing a good job. And hopefully these shots aren't too affected. There we go. We'll go ahead and once again, we can get that shot there. And if I need to, I can set the camera down on its tripod and then work hands-free with Steve if I need to. But I'm going to keep that stitch line right into the sun because nobody wants to look at the sun anyway. So I'm thinking this is the right way. I'm walking with the sun just to the upper right hand side of me. The sun is just up to the right. For you guys interested, this trail is called the Anasazi Ridge Trail. Just to the east of me, to the west of me, not to the east, is the petroglyphs. Now I hear there's actually petroglyphs on this side too, but I'm not quite there yet. And I will go through the petroglyphs at some time with this camera. Probably not today. There's only so much you can do. But I'm gonna go ahead, double check to make sure we've got, it's about 6 minutes into this clip. But you get the point of the power of the 360 camera. So for Dad Random, yes. Steve, hey Steve, come. Good boy, he's a good boy. So for Dad Random is Steve, right? Oh, we can get this shot finally. Go ahead and put that right there. Right, Steve? Yes. All right, we should probably cut this film short. Let's go see if we can find some rabbits, okay? Come on, let's go up here. All right, we're gonna go look for rabbits. All right, Dad Random back here with Steve, and what we're going to talk a little bit about our experience so far. First of all, this camera is very easy to manipulate. I know I'm going to get some just awesome shots, but am I going to gain anything? Is this going to be a worthwhile experience? And my guess is yes. Anything that's different. Remember, YouTube's about being unique. And if you can be unique and keep bringing what we would consider to be better and better quality, different experiences, unique experiences, that's what I'm trying to look for. I just don't want to get boring. I don't want to get to where the viewer expects the exact same thing every time Steve and I go out. So that's kind of it. And of course, I am going to also add or create a review from these clips. So look for the review. There's plenty of reviews out there if you want to know the technical aspects, but I want you to basically gauge the review from the environment that I'm in and what I do. So if you're a YouTuber that walks about, I guess you want to call it, there's a few of you YouTubers out there that like to walk about. This might be the tool for you, the Walkabout tool. But remember, you're going to have external audio with this. This requires external audio. There's the audio recording ability of the camera, since it's so far away from my mouth, requires an external source. So yes, it's going to add a little more difficulty that way. On the other hand, I'm going to get a very unique perspective. I'm going to get a very beautiful perspective of the place that I'm from. And that's really one of the things, whether it's an urban area, whether it's a rural area, or a wilderness area like the one I'm in right now. I'm in a Bureau of Land Management lands, and I'm with my dog. So the other thing is your subject. If you have a moving subject, for example, Steve. Steve is a moving target, and to have a camera that is fixed on Steve is very difficult. Now, if I want super good cinematic shots, like the video that I took of the ridge line with the crosses on top, that really was only possible really with a GoPro to have those kinds of shots, those quality of shots. So for Dad Random, I'm going to go ahead and set this puppy down. Steve, come. Steve, come. Got to get Steve to pay attention here. Go ahead and get this thing turned into the sun. Steve. So for Dad Random in a 360 video, yes. And wherever Steve is. Steve!